as it's coming fairly quickly. So, Mr. Disher. He's moving. Okay.
I'm almost ready.
He'll hand you that.
Can't see it. So, I'm a chaplain. We start off with an invocation, and I kind of use my faith, Catholic faith, to use some of it, but I also look at different stuff that I have in my stuff. So one of them is a handbook for Boy Scouts from 1954. Obviously, I've had it for a little while. So the mission of Boy Scouts of America is to prepare young people to make ethical and moral choices over their lifetime by instilling in them the values of the Scout Oath and Scout Law. 12th point, Scout is reverent. God uses all of life to make His will and purpose known. Whatever our tasks, we are His first, last, and always. Amen.
Please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. Scout rise. Scout salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Scout sign. Scout oath. On my honor, I will do my best, do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, help other people at all times, keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Scout law? Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Outdoor code. As an American, I will be clean. Yes, be clean in my outdoor manners. Careful with fire, consider in the outdoors, and be conservation-minded. 2. Thank you. Okay, we still need some volunteers. The one that we really need is our program chair. And if you like, we have festive garland already on our slides. So if you do are interested in helping our district, you can see Mr. Ross Billows, who's our district chair, our Bill Kohler, who he's sitting next to, our district commissioner. Tonight's agenda, we're going to do PAC annual planning, right? That's tonight, and that will be in the room over across, catty corner across. Scout BSA will be in this room. We'll be talking a little bit about religious awards. You're going to help me with that? Okay. You're going to help? Good. Okay. If anybody needs any information on recharter or Mike Ober is here, so please feel free to speak with Mike. And now our safety moment is cold weather camping.
Welcome to Breakout.
Hey!
Hey, you know, keep warm when we're up here. Next slide. We're going to be talking a little bit about, you know, how to stay warm in the real cold weather. You know, cold weather safety, eh? Now, you got to remember the 3 W's: wind, wet, and warm. Wind, insulate with nylon parka, polypropylene, and have shelter. It's always good to have a real nice, you know, winter coat when you're out there in the cold. Something that has multiple layers in it, like this one's got reflective stuff on the inside, you know, and then on the outside it's got some really nice windbreaker. And, you know, always stay dry, because the worst thing you can do is get wet. Now, with the wind, that'll take all your heat away right away, but if you get wet and you have wind, boy, oh boy, you will get real cold, you know. And always remember to change clothes before bed. Warm. Always keep warm. Have layered clothing like I've got on right now. Have layered bedding, preferably. A nice cold, nice one of those cold rated sleeping bags. And maybe one of those things that, you know, double sleeping bags, and then have a heat blanket over it of some sort, you know, like a solar thing, you know, all that sparkly stuff. Now, always wear a hat or maybe a toque, like this. Nice wool will work really well. I have wool gloves and maybe some something that won't get too wet. And then always have a heat source available, like a fire or maybe some sort of something to keep you warm in case some of the kids get really cold. Now, just don't put that fire in your tent. You're right. Now, stay hydrated. It's real important to do that because, even though it's cold, you really need to have water. Make sure you drink a lot of water and maybe like broth or soup. Gatorade will work. There's other cool things you can drink, but it's always good to have it. And have it warmed might help a little bit. Eat well. Carbs and protein are always good to have. Wear appropriate shoes, boots, and bring extra clothes, especially socks. Now, if you're going up in the snow, you probably don't want to be wearing these tennis shoes here, You might be wanting to wear something like a, winter boot, And then just make sure they're appropriate and nice and warm, especially. And maybe have some extra liners with them, too, in case they do get wet. Now, there's a couple training type things out there. Pick used to be something we did up at Tahosa. I'm not sure where we're going to be doing it, but if and when it becomes available, make sure you take it. Y'all just missed Brad's excellent presentation on winter cold safety just last Wednesday. And he can do it for any unit that you really want. Just contact Brad over here, and he'll be glad to put on an excellent performance. Excellent. Always check the forecast before you go, because sometimes it might get warm up there, but usually it get a lot colder. And most important, have fun. And that's the safety moment for this month. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Some quick announcements so we can keep going. We now have a Google Calendar, and if you need it, that is the QR code. And all of these announcements will be on the Google Calendar as well in a PDF form. The Blackfeather Clonderie sign up is open now, right? And it's up at Golden Gate Park. It's the first weekend of February. Now, we are talking about religious awards tonight, and this church where we meet is going to be doing a pray program shortly. This is a lot of words, but it's over there, so pick one up, but I wanted to make sure I didn't forget it. We have a Pinewood Derby coming up for the district in April, but before that, we actually have a Commissioners College, which is not up in the slides, and that is February 15th, 8 a.m., 5 p.m., this right here. Okay. It will be open, registration will open shortly. Okay, Cub Scout Day, just remember, it's June. I had to look. So that's coming in June. Location be determined. Registration will open up in January. And then we have the outdoor trainings coming up in May. So registration will be open soon for those. And again, these will all be these slides will be on the district site. We have Wood Badge coming up in spring. If you do not know what Wood Badge is, you can ask almost anybody in the room. Ask Kyle, Randy, me, a bunch of us. And you got a great course director in Toby Williams. Order of the Arrow, Eric's not here tonight, but January 8th at 7 p.m. that will be the next chapter meeting at St. Andrews, and then there'll be the annual lodge banquet January 11th. And don't forget, troop elections are coming soon. Evie and Asher, do you have any news?
So we want to thank everybody for their efforts with this Douglas County recruitment night. We were able to recruit 41 new scouts So that's huge for us. Yeah. Yes, I guess thank you. And we are going to push even harder for recruitment in 2025.
Yes.
Got any Rockies fans? Hi, thanks. We announced our speaker for Sports Breakfast this afternoon. So if we've got any Rockies fans or baseball fans, it's going to be Charlie Blackman. And so, yeah, so that's really great. Sports Breakfast is awesome. It's a well-run program. It'd be great if you have a business or person you work for might want to sponsor a table at Sports Breakfast. That'd be awesome. If you need more information, see me.
Two items that are not on slides. One, if any of you did scouting for food and your units did it, thank you. If you have done it and have not recorded it, please let me know, and we will need to get that recorded. Also, yesterday and this past week has been Colorado Gives, and I think I saw a number out there. It was like 170,000, something like that. So everybody, thank you for your generous support to scouting. Next month will be January 9th, and we will be doing scout books for, whoops, I switched those, didn't I? Oh, well. So at Scout BSA, we're going to be discussing Cub Scouts, and no. So we're keeping you on your toes, keeping me on my toes. So we'll be doing that. We'll also, for Big Rock, Clay has a group coming in that will be talking about community and scouting resources for our scouts with disabilities. So that's an important topic. If you have somebody that you know with scouts with disabilities, that'd probably be a great roundtable. You don't have to be a leader to come here. So I think that would be a great opportunity. He also will be doing the Scout BSA Scout Book talk. Yes, Clay. Here, take.
So this may be of interest for some of the parents. The group that administers benefits, developmental pathways for this county and a couple surrounding counties, we're going to have a speaker from there. So while they'll give general information, if someone wants that more general information, there's a lot of resources out there for families. And I think a lot of, even though Douglas County is pretty affluent, parents who have kids with special needs need the extra help. So it'll be a great resource. And I confirm with them today.
That's fantastic. My daughter works with children with autism, and it's amazing the things that I hear and how much that they have to go through in order to get some help. Now, Big Rock is incident reporting, and this will be Mr. Kohler. And here, I can do it this way.
Oh, I can drive this too. Hopefully. Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm Bill Kohler. I'm District Commissioner. Before I start my brief comments, I just want to thank my roundtable committee, Wayne, Jared, Chris and Christine, everyone else who supports Roundtable. They put a lot of time and effort in through the year to try to make these monthly programs of interest to you. But let me emphasize, these programs are for you. So if there's something you'd like to see us do, if you've got feedback that can help us improve our delivery, please let us know. We'd love to hear that. So talk for this month is on incident reporting. And what I'd like to do is just give everybody the briefest of introductions, refresher, reminder about incident reporting in Scouts. So what are we talking about when we talk about incident reports? Well, guess what? I couldn't find any good definition on the BSA website. So my own definition is they are factual, timely reports provided by unit leaders to councils concerning incidents that occur during scouting activities which affect the health and safety of our scouts. Now, there's 3 separate categories. I'll talk about these briefly in a few minutes. Separate reporting tools for youth protection violations, general health and safety incidents, and also near misses. Now, within this youth protection category, I'm going to draw a bright line between observed or suspected child abuse and everything else. We'll talk about everything else in a minute. But first and foremost, mandatory child abuse reporting. This comes right from youth protection training. If you witness or suspect any child has been abused or neglected, regardless of whether the suspected abuse happens in a scouting activity or you think in the home, school, church, anywhere, there are mandatory requirements and resource links. And those are available actually on the youth protection website within Scouting. Couple of quick steps on reporting child abuse. Number 1, ensure the child is in a safe environment. And that includes, if necessary, engaging law enforcement. Step number 1. Number 2, in cases of injury or medical emergencies, call 911. 3, if the suspected abuse occurred in the scout's home or family, you are required by state law to immediately report the local child abuse hotline. And then down the list, step 4, contact the scout executive and his or her designee. If you can't reach them directly, and that contact information is on the Greater Pittsburgh Council website, you can call the 24/7 Scouts First Helpline, or there's an email for reporting. Okay? Okay. Okay. Yes.
For Greater Colorado Council, Mike Fivehouse is the person you should contact.
If you don't know, is the Deputy Scout Executive. He's the number 2 in council overall. Really, any child abuse reports should funnel directly up to Mike. I mean, if you have trouble contacting him, you can reach out to Asher and Evie, but really this goes well up the chain. Reporting for all other incidents. Okay, and what do we have here? A couple of things. Youth protection, I mentioned, that can be violation of our youth protection policies or any inappropriate behavior involving scouts, involving registered leaders, parents. If a parent acts inappropriately to their own child or another child, and I have seen that happen, that all falls into the general category of youth protection violations. General is defined by injuries, illnesses, incidents requiring medical attention beyond basic first aid. We often say anything beyond scout-rendered first aid that occurs during a scouting activity or on council-owned properties. In that situation, you should be filing an incident report. And near misses. And scouting defines near misses as an event or series of events that could have resulted in an accident, injury, property damage, or other negative outcome, but due to fortunate circumstances or timely intervention, no actual harm or damage occurs. That all falls into the category of a near miss. Okay, how do we make a report? Now, unfortunately, we're sort of blocked here, but if you go to the main scouting website, there is a link. Does this pointer work? Yeah. Okay. There's a link up here called Scouting Safely. If you click that link, you will come to a general scouting safety page. You'll have this menu here Down the line, you see incident reporting. If you click on that, it brings up this page. And then down here, you will see navigating incident reports for units. Talk a little bit about that. There's another link right below it called Risk Connect Incident Reporting Emergency Use Portal. If you can't get a hold of counsel and you need to, that's a backup way of filing basic information about an incident directly to counsel. Okay, okay, so going to that navigating incident reporting page, it's got, sorry, I can't read off my slide here. Okay, it's got step-by-step general information, and it's got separate fillable PDFs for preparing and filing general youth protection near-miss reports. The page has got a lot more instruction, but it basically breaks down your incident response into 5 steps. First is immediate safety. You have to deal with the situation on the ground. If a scout has been injured, you have to see that they've gotten medical attention. If your other scouts are at risk, maybe you're caught in a blizzard or something like that, or a lightning storm or some sort of incident. First things first, you've got to get your entire unit into a safe location. That's number 1. And along with that, notify parents, even the kids that you've just gotten out of harm's way. You need to make those notifications. That's number 1. Step 2, grasp the full situation. As soon as you can come up for air, start thinking about the totality of the event. What happened? Who might be witnesses that you can document and have give statements? Just try to get the whole big picture. Start taking notes, put it in your mind so that once you're back safely home, you can pull up the reports and start documenting the report. Step 4, notify local counsel, which would be filing the report per the instructions. And step 5, follow up with your families. Okay? A lot more detail on the website. Just want to give you the quick tour. Now, there may be some cases where step 4, notify local counsel, moves up to step 2. Okay? Serious, life-threatening injuries, very significant youth protection concerns, and I like to say anything you think might show up on the 10 o'clock news. You don't want Mr. Fifehouse watching TV and find out that there was a traffic accident involving a scout troop. You want to try to make that initial contact first, even if it's, this happened, we're still gathering information, we're still taking charge of the situation. Want to let you know, we will follow up. And that also allows counsel to start engaging for any support that they may need to provide. Okay? Okay. Lastly, this is more administration. Why do we make you file these reports? Well, here's the official answer. Incident reporting strengthens BSA safety culture, benefiting everyone involved. It raises awareness of potential risks, prompting swift preventive actions. Additionally, it drives improvement by highlighting systemic issues and refining policies for higher risk activities. This cycle of awareness and enhancement ensures a safer and better scouting experience for all. All true. My own simple brain puts it this way. Sorry you can't read this all. It enables counsel to respond to follow-up inquiries and take appropriate action. If you've got an issue where parents are likely to be calling headquarters, sure is nice to let headquarters know what's going on first. Avoids the appearance that as unit leaders we're trying to cover up or minimize an incident. It allows for continuous learning and improvement, and I threw number 4 on here. Lessons learned, maybe shareable events for our roundtable safety moments. As much as we like seeing John bundled up in a heavy coat, from time to time. If it's appropriate, you may have something to share that we can all learn and benefit from. Any quick questions on that? Okay, thank you.
With that, oh, wait, do you have my clicker? I want to make sure that's the last slide. It is. Plus, now I can see. So right now, we're going to go out to breakouts. Cub Scouts is over there. Scouts BSA will be in here where we talk about religious emblems and awards. And then if you have a reason to meet with Mr. Ober, we can just go outside. There's what's out there, a couch? Can I go out there too? Oh. So anyway, in 5 minutes, we'll be ready to go. And you want for the Scouts BSA.
So when we go to these breakouts, what we want to do is we want to clear the room as soon as we can so that we can start the breakouts immediately, basically. So if you have other discussions that you want to talk to, you have a question for Mike, or you got a question for Bill, or you got a question for Ross, take those right outside the doors in the open space that's there so that we can continue with the breakout in here and the breakout over there. And hopefully we can not lose all the time that we've lost on a couple of the other ones.
Okay, and now one more thing. Sign in, two more things. The sign-up sheets or sign-in sheets are right there. And in case you've noticed that I have a microphone, we are recording these for posterity. No, we're recording that so if somebody misses Roundtable, there's a way that they can see it. And Jared, we're live streaming it, correct?
We're live streaming these via YouTube. The links for that go out when Bill sends his announcements for the roundtable. So every leader in the district should be receiving that link. If you get those and you can pass them on to your parents, you may have other leaders who would like to listen in. It's not a hybrid meeting. There's no input from the outside, but we are broadcasting the information, and then they are available as a recording after the fact at that same link. And the thing that we're doing tonight is first time we're trying to get sort of a dual broadcast, one for the Scouts breakout in here and one for the Cubs breakout in the other room. And we're going to post up, I think, a link so that anybody watching from home will be able to switch over to the Cub breakout. From there, we're going to see how that works. But so if anybody has anybody watching at home and you get feedback, please pass that along to us, and we'll see if we can find better ways to make that work in the future.
Okay, thank you. Now we're ready for breakouts. was the Big Rock. These slides are from the Big Rock.
As he's getting everything set up for that, I've got a question. You guys know that I'm the district chaplain. How many of your units have a chaplain? Chaplain. How many of your units have a chaplain's aide? So there's a difference in the two. Chaplain's aide is a scout. Chaplain is a scout. Scout first. Scout first
Is the chaplain.
chaplain is a scouter.
Yes.
A chaplain's aide is a scout. It would be good if all of our units had one of each, so that the adult leader scouter can help the chaplain's aide scout complete the duties that are required of that. So, I didn't focus on that. All the time, I want to go to Cub Scouts too. Cub Scouts can't have a chaplain's aide unless it was a dinner chief. The dinner chief could come down to the Cub Scout level and be the chaplain's aide for that scout pack. So it's kind of one of those things, but it put all the packs in troops, and troops can all have a chaplain. So if you got questions for me, I'll be out there so we can get on with everything. You have a quick one?
Here, give him the. Wait, Greg, we're recording.
Just a quick question. I know we've had, when Mike Shapiro was doing it with somebody that's on the ESC, the status of the chaplain's aid training and chaplain training. I didn't know if you knew if they're offering it or how to have your units get that training so that at least they can do that role.
I will look into that. The chaplain's training is online. It's a 2-part training for the adult leaders, and it's pretty easy. And I'll look into chaplain's aid and see exactly what it is.
So, welcome everyone to our December roundtable. So, the reason we are doing religious awards this month is because it is December. December is important for many religions, and it's a good time to remind all of our scouts of the 12th point of the Scout Law. A scout is reverent. When I had a Cub Pack, I made them always do a service project in December, and I ended up being very disappointed at how many of them thought that they got to keep what they made or that they were getting money for it. So I always try to point out Scout is reverent.
I'm wearing it. So, many of you that have been here in the past have seen the Big Rock slides that I put up about duty to God. And so, why is it important? And why we're doing it in December is for that good reason. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country. It is one of the things that we stress when a scout is reverent in the law, is we don't ask you what to believe, but we ask that you believe in something. So we feel that's important. It was important to Baden Powell, our founder, and it was important to all the leaders throughout the years. Most of us are chartered, a lot of us are chartered by churches. So there are different faiths. One of the people I served with on Wood Badge has the first Islamic troop in the Denver Area Council. It's important not only for those of the Christian faith or Jewish faith, but also for that. I had a gentleman that was in our troop that I'm not sure exactly what it was, what the faith he had was, but there was even a religious knot and program for that. It was not one of the common things that we would think of, but there are knots for that. And there's a list of knots here. So as Bob mentioned, the adult scouter would be a chaplain. That could be, in many cases, it's actually the religious organization. It might be the minister of that church, that or the temple or wherever. They might be the chaplain and come to meetings periodically. It's not very common, but they can do training for the scouts and the chaplain aid. And but if you have somebody that has a strong faith, I would recommend that they look at that as a possibility of them becoming the chaplain of your troop. I was the chaplain in Connecticut of our troop. What can the chaplain and a chaplain's aide do on campouts? Bill Kohler's left, but he and I were talking yesterday as I was driving home from the Springs. And one of the things that we talked about was some of the things that we remembered when we were in our scout troops when we were kids. And a lot of times we'd have a religious service either Saturday night or Sunday morning, where we'd have a song, a reflection, and the scouts would do it. Maybe the SBL, maybe the chaplain's aide. And sometimes Bill was talking about the one he remembered was during a canoe trip, where they were talking about the nature and how wonderful it is. And if you think about it, Psalm 100 is the nature song. When you shout to the Lord, let's see. Chaplain's aide is one of the ranks that you can do, or one of the positions, sorry, not rank, that you can do for advancement. So, but it's not something you just sign up for. It's something that you should be actively participating and working at. It's not a check a box. There's a bunch out there, historian and different ones, and whatever the position is that you have in the troop, make sure, or your scout has in the troop, make sure that they're working at it. But the district level, is it still Joe Black is our district chaplain? I meant council chaplain. I'm sorry. Joe, sorry. I looked at district and my mind went to council.
Joe Black actually attended my father's funeral.
Oh, wow.
I said, "Oh, you're here, Joe." He said, "Of course, I'm council chaplain."
How long ago was that? 4 years. I've known her for a while and I did not know that. So, these were brought over by John Dawson. And I want you, if you can, take a look at some of these. It's, let's see, Armenian churches, Diocese of the Armenian Church of America, Baha'i, Baptist, Buddhist, Christian, Churches of Christ, Eastern Orthodox, Eastern Catholic, Episcopalian, Hindu, Islamic, Jewish, Lutheran, Baba, Moravian. So there's Roman Catholic, Unitarian. So there's a bunch that are here that you can do for your specific. And Kyle actually has with him, he brought some books, I noticed. And how many of you have gone to a religious retreat or have helped participate in a religious program like the Pray program or which is what these are. So this is God and me. There's God and me, there's God and family, there's God and country, and God and life. These are the standard Protestant ones. There's Catholic ones as well. There's ones of the Jewish faith, Islamic faith, but this is a student workbook. Do you remember God and Me? Is that the first one?
No.
Okay.
So there's 5 levels, but only 4 of them really count.
Okay.
And the first 2 of the ones really count. God and Me is for grades 2 through 3, and God and Family is grades 4 through 6. Those are the ones that are going to be here that that the flyers are out here for the clinic that they're putting on here at this church.
And yeah, and I really got to tell you, God and Family, it's kind of cool. You make a pizza and the different layers to make the pizza, to explain your faith is pretty interesting, the God and Family one. I thought it was kind of ingenious. And so these can be done as a day program, or they can be done, most of them are supposed to be done more as a overtime, several weeks. When my son did it back in Connecticut, he did both, I think he did the Cub and the Weeblo program. I think he did them both. And they were over, I think, a 4 or 5 week period that they were done. So these are things that could be help. And not only can you get it as a scout, you can get the religious knot if you're working with your youth as a chaplain or as a leader helping your scouts with their faith.
I remember correctly, this is the religious knot is the one knot that
Oh yeah, come on
you
over.
can wear both at the same time.
Yes.
You're into the knot as a cub and as a scout, and then again as an adult.
Yeah, this is the Cub Scout, or the Scout one, and they're actually, if you've earned it 4 times, you actually can get a rocker for Cub Scout. Weeblo,
I actually should have 2 pins on.
Yeah, and I have some pins for some of the leader knots that I have. And speaking of youth, since you were an Eagle Scout, so if you've gotten your Arrow Light, that's this one, and Eagle Scout is this one. So, but yes, those are, so you have these 3 bottom row are all that he earned as a youth. So, perfect. I don't need to be standing up here chatting. You have questions, comments, anything on this that you would like to add?
Yeah.
Just to add for the Jewish award, if you're Jewish, see me and we'll figure out what we can do. It's I'm the chair of the Jewish Committee on Scouting, but we're kind of on hiatus. There isn't a lot of people that were able to kind of continue to help. But we've done Kinusim, that's the multiple of Kinus, where we had for the Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts at the time, now Scouts BSA, religious award to work on that. So we did something at the event that we held, and then you work with the clergy at your synagogue or temple. So see me if you have some questions. Thank you.
And how it's done is that you do, ultimately you're supposed to meet with your minister or rabbi or the leader of your faith. Thank you. My mind was, 1 syllable words are really hard Evie.
Hi. As a council executive, I hear about the religious emblems very often in two capacities. The first is requests for Eagle Scouts, and the second is sign-up nights. The first request I get asked regularly from unit leaders is, can someone who is atheist earn their Eagle Scout? Does anybody here know the answer to that question? The answer is yes. It did once upon a time be no, but the answer is today yes. Because what is reverence? It is a learning and dedication to something larger than yourself at its simplest core. In its regards. So all that we ask is that, like, when questioning that young person as they come to their Eagle Board of Review, what do you believe in that is greater than yourself? Right? Is a good way to ask that question on an Eagle Board of Review for a young person who says they are atheist. And then the second onto that is we have added newer emblems in recent years. There's about 5 different religions who are pushing for their emblems right now under review. The newest one that's been added is the Unitarian one that was mentioned. The Unitarian one is an incredible one for those youth who don't know where they fall religiously or are atheist, because Unitarian churches are very accepting of everyone. And their religious structure is built at finding what is the things that bring us all together that is similar between all religions with it. So it is a great way for that young person who's not sure where they stand, where they believe, or if they do believe, to experience those things so they can have that conversation with you when they do reach their board of review for Eagle one day. So just some good things to know on that. Yeah.
Do you have any comments? Yeah, it's just that we.
So just something also to think about for families that are in more established churches. So really great. On the other side of that, if you're going through confirmation or communion, many times those programs that the kids are going through in their church communities, they'll actually use the same tools that we're using for the scout leaders.
That's good to know.
They're really close. You're like 97.2%.
Yeah, and they can probably do both at the same time because there'll be so much overlap. So for you guys, the flyer that's here, if you didn't hear last month, starting next month here at this church, they're doing the clinic, as we mentioned earlier, and they're focusing on the 2 younger graded levels. So being Scouts, not Cub Scouts here, this is mostly Cub Scouts with grades 2 through 3 and grades 4 through 6, which does include your new Scouts. There are 2 others. God and Church does grades 6 through 8, and God and Life does grades 9 through 12. And by earning these, it gives the Scout, as a Scout, the ability to wear a knot, if you haven't, that we were just showing off here. So your Scouts can put that on their uniform as Cub Scouts. If they earn it as Cub Scouts, they can put it on their uniform as Scouts. If you haven't seen that, you have now. It's right there. So that's a cool thing for our Scouts, right? They don't get too many opportunities to put knots on their uniform. And I will tell you, I got mine as a youth way back in the 1900s, and it took me a solid year to get it done. It was a different program then, and it took me a whole year to get mine done. Now, it's broken up into age-appropriate levels, and it gets progressively harder as they get older, as it should. And if they get all 4 of them, there's a special award they get for earning all 4 levels. So if you've got some Cub Scouts coming over, you can continue this. You can also work with, if you're chartered by a religious institution, this is an opportunity for them to do outreach. So it's basically an opportunity for you to get your charter org more involved in a positive way, not the other options that we sometimes run into with our charter orgs. But it's a good opportunity to do this. I will say, if you have older Scouts in these 7th grade and up that are interested in doing this and don't know how to get started, feel free to contact me. Also, if you've got interest in chaplain or chaplain aid training, let me or Bob know, and that's something that I've been working on a little bit too, and I would love to see get going in this council. Oh, also, you'll notice if you come up and look through the books, this was the one level I could find. I don't know where my daughter put hers, so it's probably in her room, neatly placed on her perfectly clean desk, I'm sure. And firmly planted, yes. So come and look at these, but you'll notice there are 3 books. There's a workbook for the scout. There is another workbook that can be kind of a parent book, and then there's the mentor book as well. If you mentor these, that is an option that you have as an adult. You can help mentor your scouts through these, and you too can get a cool little pin that has their 4-colored cross on it and says mentor on it and whatnot. Andrew Campbell, who wasn't able to be here tonight, you'll see him how he's got one on his pocket flap.
Sure.
On the slide, it mentions pray during meals. When we had the contingent for Jamboree in 2013, we had a chaplain's aid, and it doesn't have to be necessarily, I mean, that was a very diverse group. It doesn't have to be a denominational prayer. That includes the high adventure prayers, for example, at the different camps. And there are some resources you can find, and you can do different things. It doesn't have to be maybe what we see traditionally at a lot of unit events, at invocations, and it could be something a little different. I like what Bob Disher does. He does stuff that's really kind of outside of maybe what you might see, but there are resources, and if you can't figure something out, just look up like the Tahosa prayer, or the Philmont, or Northern Tier, or Seabase, or the Summit. So those are some options too.
A lot of times if I'm the one that's praying, I'll end my prayer with, in the name of now that I'm going to say it, I mess it up. In the name of the great Scoutmaster, or Scoutmaster, all Scouts. And that, what that means to me is whatever your faith is, that's who you're praying to. It's your great Scoutmaster. So that way it's non-sectarian. So let's see. So yeah, some of the things, do service to your religious organization, prayer at appropriate times at a meeting. We had a tragic event back in Parker a number of years ago where 3 boys fell through the ice. And one of my scouts knew one of the boys that died. It was one of his good friends. And I put one of our scouts on the spot because I knew he could handle it. He was a little bit older. And I asked him to pray. And one of the adults looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Let it go." And I had him pray. You couldn't have asked for a better prayer. It was from the heart. Bless you. And it really meant a lot, not only to me, but to the scouts that were there, because don't sell your scouts short on their own faith. Let's see. Assist in a Scouts Sunday service. If your church wants you to put on a Scout Sunday service, it doesn't always have to be in February. That's traditional for us. But we had a church that liked us to do it the Sunday after Easter, and the minister could get a break after Lent. And so the scouts would do all the prayers, the readings, would tell a little bit about scouts, and then the scoutmaster, I forget who his name is, I would do the reflection, or the basically the sermon. And that was one way that we would do it. But there's different ways to show your faith. a lot of us as scouters, the reason we're still in is because we love scouting, but we also, this is sometimes the only time the scouts will actually see somebody of faith, to put it bluntly. And you want to set the example. And I think that's an important thing to do, if you can. It's great. I'll repeat what you said.
So you talked about the Great Scout Master of all Scouts, and it reminds me, if you're not with your unit that's tied to a particular faith organization, what you will see a lot of is a leader in invocation will say, please prepare yourself in the manner to which you are accustomed, because faiths are different. In my faith, you wear a kippah, I don't, but you wouldn't take that off. And sometimes people
Yes.
say, take your hats off. Well, for other faiths, that may not be appropriate. If you're, I guess, you know your audience, if you're
Yes.
with your church or with your synagogue, you'll know. But if not, just try to be mindful of that.
For the recording, basically prepare yourself in the manner that you're accustomed, which might not mean you take off your hat, or it's whatever you are accustomed to. And I guess it's a judgment-free zone when you think about it. So let's see. Yes, sir.
Religious customs for removing hats for men and women are very different.
Yes, they are.
And particularly now that we have girls troops, where I've seen some boys troops act for them.
Yes, it is different in certain religions between the male and female, the men and the women of the girls and boys. It is different for many of them. Or if you're in the South? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, how am I doing? Families should talk to the religious leaders to show them the booklet. If you are going to do the program, talk to your minister and talk to your rabbi, talk to the leader of your religious organization and see if they can help you with this. They might not be familiar with it. They might not have a troop that meets or a pack that meets in their organization or at their location, but they might be very willing, because what is it doing? It's helping promote their own faith. So many of them will say yes, meet with me.
If your church is interested in doing this too, this program is not exclusive to scouting. It is for any youth. So this is something that if you can convince your church to do it, fantastic. Let all the rest of us know too, by the way. But it can be opened up to the entire community. It just happens that I think scouting is probably this group's biggest customer, but it is open to any and every child who is interested.
Scouting does it. Girl Scouts do it. Trail. Yes, they do. Because I remember that when I taught it down in Colorado Springs a number of years ago, I had no Cub Scouts with me. I had all young Girl Scouts, and that were there that day. So, so it's not, the Pray organization is not part of Scouting. It's something separate, but it is something that Scouting recognizes. As we say, that we would like our Scouts to be reverent. And many programs require the signature of the local religious leader too. So if you meet at a church, your Scouts meet at a church, then probably the minister would want to talk to that person or to the Scouts, and therefore they could sign off. Let's see. You can get these at the Scout Shop, or you can order them online. And each person should have their own book because you can write in it. And there are, for the Protestant, there is the counselor and the adult mentor. And I have a few of those as well. And as you're starting it, the parents really should check in and have buy-in on it too, because think about your kids in scouting. Most of the kids that get Eagle Scout have parents that are somewhat active or involved, or if they're not 100% active, they're behind them, helping. They're encouraging. You want your parents to help and be encouraging to your scouts with this program as well. So this is how you would earn it, which is all right here. And then pre-COVID, there was one in the Springs, and now St. Andrews is doing one here. So that is some of the stuff, but Randy has a question.
So you know, the one happening here, you don't have to be, it's kind of a mainline Protestant thing. So whether you're Baptist or whatever, you can attend.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify something that Evie said. I'm actually looking at scouting.org website for Duty to God, and it says any youth or leader who would be a member of the Boy Scouts of America must profess a belief in God and promise to do his or her best to fulfill the spiritual ideals of scouting. So, a God, there are different interpretations of what God is, but I think we'd be concerned about an atheist who didn't believe in a higher being of some sort. And it's on a scouting.org webpage, troopleader.scouting.org.
It's also on the application.
So just to clarify that.
Wayne, did you cover anything about adults getting this award?
Somewhat, but not really. The adults, if you notice, I just recently got one about a year ago. I've been involved with, there is an application for adults, and the fact that I've taught this class about 3 or 4 times, ran the Scout Sunday at our church for about 5 years. One of the, he is a minister, but he ended up, I asked him, I said, there is a program for adults, and he said, give me the application because you've earned it. So, but it's normally a nomination that has to be done, and I'll let you keep talking.
Well, I was going to kind of leading questions. Was it easy to get? You said 5 years for in the Protestant church. That's a long time.
I think you actually, it says that it has to be a certain amount of time. I think it is 5 years. Yeah.
Yes. No.
Very dependent on the church.
Yes.
Some are easier than others. Some is a list of.
Well, in some units, in some churches, though, isn't it something where you have been told what you're supposed to be doing there, Chris?
Yes, in general, it was a list of things you did, and part of being part of that church so it was quite easy for me to get that. Other ones are much, much harder, and are, again, nomination-based and can take much longer. One of the reasons it took me quite a while to get it is the fact that I don't go to the church where the troop meets. So the church I go to actually doesn't have scouting as part of their program. So I didn't feel that it would be empty if that was the person that that nominated me because they don't know what I was doing with the youth.
Can I add to that? So for my faith, you can't, it's like the Silver Beaver, you can't submit yourself. So I just did stuff for the Jewish Committee on Scouting. We actually didn't have a unit at the synagogue that I attended and my kids attended and I was married at, but we were tied to a Orthodox community through, it's called the Denver Academy of Torah, DOT. And so what happened was the other committee members submitted me and somebody else, and we got it through that. So I didn't even submit. It was just at one of the events, they broke out in this award and said, here you go. And it was awesome.
I was actually nominated by the Charter Org rep.
That's great.
Yeah, but it was because she knew what was going on. And she talked to the former, he's a minister but retired, the
Remember,
elder of the church.
the youth do look to the adults to see what are we working on. And they see, we have a new knot. What is that for? Oh, I can get a new award. Gee, the kids do anything for patches these days. Also,
Now you sound like Sid Hughes. I'll do anything for a patch.
also don't assume that the kid is going to come to you and say, this is my religion, this is what I would like to earn. When our son was a Cub Scout, it was at Runyon Elementary, and he was the first Cub in that pack to ever earn a religious award. Ever. The advancement chair didn't even know this existed. So he only knew about it because we were LDS and he had the book from church. But there are other religions that the youth may be that they don't know the opportunities out there unless you tell them. Remember, these are kids. We have to give them information. So maybe during your next meeting, say, hey, December is an important month for many religions. Let's see what religious awards there are available for our youth.
Thank you. I think that pretty much covers everything, but did I miss anything, John, on or Greg, on the nominations? Yeah, you're not supposed to self-nominate. This was a weird one where I just said to somebody, I've been doing all this. No, I know you weren't. But it was because I was from a different church, so it was weird. But I had probably been doing it for 10 years at that point. Clay.
Pointed out something that as adult leaders we need to remember. We need to recognize all our other adult leaders. If somebody's doing something good, I get we're all always really busy on the youth program. We often forget to make sure and say, look, everyone here is doing a phenomenal job just by the virtue that you're here. But there's also people in your troops that are doing a good job in all those things. So
Yeah.
when you should have done that for 3 years earlier,
Well, thank you. But he brings up a good point. Be aware of what your scouters are doing, which reminds me that there are outstanding, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. There's outstanding scouters within your units. There's the Spirit of Polaris Award. There's the Footsteps of the Founders, which are within our district. There's the District Award of Merit. These are ways that we recognize our adult scouters and thank them for the jobs that they have done and well deserved. Glenn. Yeah, Felicia has done a great job. She actually she's earned the Silver Beaver. And that was at the great dinner where everybody got COVID. but it was the same year that these two earned their Silver Beaver a year apart, but because of COVID, we actually had the dinner together. So we had quite a large class that year. But few people, 3 at that table right there, that one. There's a number that in this room that have their Silver Beaver. Yes, Glenn. Pardon me? Oh, yeah. And that's actually why you get this. If you get Silver Beaver, it's more than just participating on a unit level. It's what you've done for the district and for the council. Oh. A lot for the council. Right. Yeah. Yeah, my grandfather got the Silver Beaver back in 1956. It's up on my wall in my office. And he told me that across the country on the same night, Jimmy Stewart got his. So anyway, well, thank you all and if you have any other questions, feel free to ask, and we appreciate it. And thank you all for coming. And now, don't forget we have these flyers, and we should do our scout benediction.
I have a quick question, actually.
A quick question. Okay.
I'm just curious if you met here, and you were great by now. The possibility for youth to earn religious emblems other than for their own religion. Try to, right. Well, there's a bit of a profession of faith that kind of goes along with some of that too.
Right.
And again, it would depend highly on the religion and the award.
Right.
What are the requirements for that award? Some would be, belonging to that faith and having certain, levels per se.
Right. Different denominations that overlap a little more. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that I've had friends in the past who were a split family, but they were Jewish and Unitarian, and they earned both of them. But that's probably they're in, and some faiths don't mix well together.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you all. Let's close up, round up, and John, could you do our closing? Right, overlap. Well, we got our natural gap over here. It just worked. That's.
Skip a gap. Okay. I'm the most uncoordinated person.
Okay.
I think we've got a three-way competition going now. So.
Yeah.
It's always important. What we are doing here in Roundtable is demonstrating how we could do their meeting. I'm going to do a benediction that we've had that's out there for
Forever.
I'm going to go ahead and say it, and then I'll go 1, 2, 3, and we'll it goes like this. Great Scoutmaster, Boy Scouts,
May the great Scoutmaster of all Scouts be with us and guide us until we meet again.
Scouters, thank you very much for being here tonight. See you next month.
Thank you.